Daniel Defense has released their first pistol, the Double D H9. This is not just a revamped Hudson H9. For those of you who are familiar with the Hudson H9 from several years ago, we'll definitely talk more about that in a minute. But the Daniel Defense is a complete overhaul of what was a pretty dang good design initially anyway. Daniel Defense has the Midas touch, in my opinion, and it's looking like the Double D H9 is pure gold. And it's always a good day when you can get your hands on a new set of Double Ds. When you can get your hands on a new Double D. Anyway, my name's Dwayne from Hunt, Shoot, Live, and this is The Gun Show. So back in 2017 at SHOT Show that year, a company called Hudson Manufacturing showed up with a pretty sweet looking little pistol called the Hudson H9. Now, it was an all-steel design built somewhat like a 1911, especially in the grip and in the trigger being a straight pull with a safety blade, but it employed a striker fire system. It did look a little odd too because of what probably is the most awesome feature in my opinion. The guide rod and the recoil spring were directly in front of the trigger guard, so it was set really low, giving it a super low bore axis. And this led to some pretty dang enjoyable shooting. Because that recoil spring and everything was in front of the trigger, it didn't pop as much. You didn't get that barrel flip, that muzzle ride. So it was a super sweet shooting gun, and it caught on really fast. As a matter of fact, the following year at SHOT Show, they released an even lighter version with an aluminum frame. It actually came in about a half a pound lighter. They called it the H9A. Unfortunately, later on in 2018, Hudson ran into some legal problems when a lawsuit was filed. I think there was maybe a failure to pay for some parts. All at the same time, people were having some mechanical failures with their H9s, and parts were having to be replaced, as well as Hudson just having to keep up with the demands for the gun itself. I think they just couldn't keep up. They no-showed a reserved booth at the 2019 SHOT Show, filed for bankruptcy in March of 2019, and thankfully, Daniel Defense swooped in 2020 and bought the license and the patent for the design. Now, let's talk a little bit about Daniel Defense themselves. Now, they've been around since 2002, initially getting going, selling some firearms components, and they lucked up with a pretty big contract with the military. Started in 2009 producing some AR-15 style rifles with cold hammer forged barrels, and they accommodate to U.S. Department of Defense, police departments, foreign militaries, and of course civilians as well. And in my opinion, they produce some dang fine products. As a result of that, over the last several years, they've started venturing out a little bit. We first saw that venturing out happen when they expanded into the bolt gun realm in 2019 with the Delta 5 line, which seems to have continued right along with Double D's record for being worth grabbing a handful of. So let's keep a good thing going, right? Double D started working on the H9 overhaul in 2020 and took the last 3 years to make the Double D H9 worthy of our hungry hands. In reality, the only part of that H9 that is the same as the original H9 is the sear block spring. Everything else has been completely overhauled, made more durable, design flaws addressed, literally everything improved, including the ergonomics and the look. The Daniel Defense H9 has given us another beauty to fondle for sure. Now let's talk some about the specs. You've got ambidextrous controls, you've got a CNC machined alloy steel slide, aluminum frame, cold hammer forged steel barrel with a 1 in 10 twist. Now this is a 9mm. It's going to be initially offered in 9mm, maybe later in other calibers, I don't know. But right now we got the 9mm, 1 in 10 twist, 6 groove polygonal rifling barrel on that. So that's pretty cool. CNC machine, stainless steel slide stop, stainless steel straight pullback trigger with a trigger blade safety. You've got removable textured G10 grips, a CNC machine stainless steel optics mounting plate design on that, so you should be able to slap all of your favorite optics mounting plates on there to get your favorite red dot on the H9. Carbon steel, double stack magazine with a low friction finish. Now this is going to accept the old H9 mags, but if you have an old H9, it will not accept the new Daniel Defense H9 mags. Reason for that is because the new version is just a little bit smaller and more compact. So the new Daniel Defense H9 mags are going to be flush fit on the bottom of your grip, whereas it will accept the old ones. They're going to hang down. They're going to stick down just a little bit below the grip. They're going to be a little bit longer. It's going to be 15 round magazines on that. As far as safety device goes, Double DH9 is going to include a trigger safety blade, and it's going to have two internal safeties, the trigger safety plunger and a striker block. No word as to if a thumb safety is going to be made available at some point. It is not on the initial models. As I said, this is a 9mm. It's coming in slightly smaller than the original H9. But if you want to compare it to some of the more popular modern firearms, size-wise, you're looking at somewhere between a Glock 19 and a SIG P320. It actually weighs the same as a P320 unloaded, but it's a little bit shorter. It's not quite as tall, and it's just, as the P320, and then it's just a little bit bigger than the Glock 19. So right in between those two, and here are the specs exactly. You've got 1.2 inches from slide lock to slide lock, with the grip width being exactly 1 inch. It's 5.12 inches high. The barrel is 4.28 inches, and you're coming in at an overall length of 7.69 inches. Now this weighs 29.6 ounces with an empty mag, just like the SIG P320. All of your major components on the H9 are going to be nitrided and DLC coated. Now let's talk a little bit about that accessory rail. I had alluded earlier that super low accessory rail on the original H9 looked kind of weird. Daniel Defense has taken care of that. They have designed it somehow. They've been able to leave that recoil spring low in front of the trigger guard, but raised up higher than what the original H9 was. So what that means is you get the sweet looking gun with that awesome recoil handling low bore axis design. So an improvement upon the original. Shoots the same, looks better. Obviously, this new design, though, is going to cause it to not fit, and your holsters that you've got, no worries, though. Daniel Defense has said that they're already working with major holster manufacturers to be sure that there's plenty of options available out there. And circling back to the mag thing, obviously, your Glock mags, your SIG mags, those are not going to work. It is a proprietary mag, and unless you've got some of the old Hudson H9 mags, you're out of luck. You're going to either have to have the brand new Daniel Defense H9 mags or the old ones or nothing else. Now, price-wise, hold on to your panties here. As you would expect from Daniel Defense, the price is a little high, but I always like to say you get what you pay for. I always like to say buy once, cry once. Only if us gun owners could simply buy once. But the MSRP on the Double DH9 is $1,299. Is it worth it? I don't know. I've not had my hands on it yet. I can say that personally, any Double D that I've ever had my hands on, including the Double D M4V7 that I own, I absolutely love it. I have no regrets paying what I paid for it. I know the people that I've watched the reviews on so far, they said it's great. It's really wonderful. So, I don't know. Time will tell. If you're listening to this in the early part of 2024, it's actually not been released yet. So, we're going to have to be just a little bit patient for those of us who are waiting early on. You can go to their website and sign up for a notification to be notified for when they are going to release it, so you can be one of the first to pick it up. But otherwise, just like when we were in middle school, you're going to have to sit and dream about getting your hands... Well, okay, no more boob jokes. But seriously, I can't wait to get my hands on the Daniel Defense H9. They produce some quality product. I have no doubt that this one is quality as well. I look forward to doing a detailed field review with this gun when it comes out. Appreciate you guys for listening. My name is Dwayne from Hunt, Shoot, Live, and this is The Gun Show.